join me in welcoming writer and executive producer Jon Favreau, director, writer, and executive producer Dave Filoni, the Mandalorian himself, Pedro Pascal, Carl Weathers, Gina Carano, Werner Herzog, and director Bryce Dallas Howard, director Rick Famuyiwa, director Deborah Chow, and composer Ludwig Göransson.
It's exciting for so many people to see it at the same time, and it's exciting for us to be in front of an audience like this too, with a few other episodes. We have the first 3 here. So if you've seen the first one, we got 2 more, and we hope you like it.
Yes. For the cast down here, when did you guys realize how big of a deal this show was going to be? At what point was it?
I asked them, what do I have to audition for? You know, this creature, this robot, what? and I'm not really a voiceover actor, you know what I mean? I was like giving them a whole spiel, and they looked confused, and they said, you're the Mandalorian. And I was like, they're asking me to be a part of something that is a really big deal, to answer your question.
Beautifully done, beautifully done. Now, Dave, there are a lot of people here that know a heck of a lot about the Mandalorians and their culture, yes. But for someone who may not know, what is something that you think that people need to know going into this show, and where do the Mandalorians stand in a post-Return of the Jedi world?
I think the beauty of this show, honestly, is that you don't really need to know anything about Star Wars to enjoy it. If you know the Mandalorians are notoriously the greatest warriors in the galaxy and they'll fight you to prove it, then that'll go a long way and you'll seem smarter at the start.
So we kind of pick up in this lawless land, but a lot of these characters seem to have these allegiance, these rules that they're kind of following. How true is that for your character?
Well, I think my character, she goes a little bit rogue, and she's a little bit of a loner, and she finds herself, I don't know, just on a planet, and that's where I meet the Mandalorian. I think she's passionate, a bit of an adrenaline junkie, and what I love about her so much is I can be so much stronger with her, and I believe in her, and I absolutely love playing her. So thank you so much for writing her.
Bryce, you've kind of been like Star Wars adjacent your entire life. You know, your dad worked with George Lucas and then directed Solo. So how cool does it feel to be in the director's chair, and does it kind of feel like a full circle moment?
Yeah, I mean, it's goes without saying, it's kind of the ultimate privilege and honor to be a part of this, you know, storytelling legacy. And when I was a kid, this was just sort of like part of the fabric of my childhood. Like George would send, Dave, you're gonna so know this, George would send like every Christmas like Star Wars figurines, like every single Christmas to all the kids in my family. There are 4 kids. And so I just grew up with just like Lucasfilm merch everywhere and like these figurines, and would play with them and being immersed in that world. And I was 5 years old when George and Kathy and my dad did Willow together. And so it was just so exhilarating to get to kind of continue that experience of just playing with these characters and losing yourself in this extraordinary story.
Amazing. For our directors back here, we're hearing a lot about the kind of collaborative environment that you guys got to work in. Can you talk a little bit about that and how you kind of were able to make your episode your own?
Yeah, it was like Star Wars film camp. It was really pretty amazing. And so when I heard that John wanted to meet with me about this, I was like, have you seen Dope? Do you know? Have you seen my movies? Are you sure? But I think that's a testament to John, is that I think he was able to see the different talent out there and said, I want to bring some of these voices into Star Wars. And my films were influenced by George in so many ways. Star Wars was the first film that I saw in the theater. American Graffiti is what what influenced the first film that I directed called The Wood, and it was about, it felt like this incredible full circle moment. And so to be on set was pretty great, and John created this incredible environment where he said, bring your voice, bring your talents. And then we all supported each other as we were making the film, and it was such a unique, creative filmmaking environment. I'm so proud to be a part of it, and thank you, John, for bringing us in and doing the things you do, my friend.
Deborah, anything to add to that wonderful sentiment?
Yeah, I think everything Rick said, but what's interesting is usually as a director, you don't get to interact with other directors very often. So I've done a lot of television, but you're sort of passing ships and you never get to actually kind of collaborate or work together. So I think that was one of the things that was the most interesting and amazing on this show, was that all of the directors really knew each other really well, and we were all collaborating and sort of involved in each other's work. And so we were sort of a team, but at the same time, everybody, I think, had their own voice, which is amazing.
That's great. We have to talk about the outstanding music in this show, Ludwig. So great, like somehow gets stuck in my head, and it's so unique to Star Wars. Can you talk a little bit about your process and what inspired you for The Mandalorian?
For me, like, John Williams' Star Wars music is, I think, the best film music ever written. And so, there is a little pressure come a little, and I think the only way that I could do it was to try something completely different. And Dave and John was always extremely supportive of that. We were talking about the family feeling, and they were just always super supportive in trying new ideas, and we combine like all these organic instruments, and we combine them with a tech modern production. And then we also was very fortunate enough, David and John was very supportive, also including and recording an orchestra here in town with some of the LA's best musicians, and really also incorporate the whole, make it feel organic as well, and really put the soul into the music.
Mm-hmm.
I would love Warner's insight into what the experience was like working on this production.
Yeah.
It's John Trevor who got me into the mess. Let's face it. And when you invited me, I knew within less than 60 seconds this was going to be big, because I saw the universe, I saw costumes, I saw the round horizon, I saw the spacecraft, I saw an entire universe, and I knew this is really big. Secondly, when John explained a little bit about the character, yes, it's a dark sort of figure and shouldn't be trusted at all, I knew it was going to be easy. So and I enjoyed every moment of it.
Carl, how about you? First day on set, Grief Karga.
Yeah. Honestly, I wish I could say I remember the first day on set. It feels like, honestly, it feels like we've been there forever. I mean, it really does, because the work has been so consuming in a way, from day to day. As Pedro said, you're on these amazing sets, and there's so much to take in, and it's kind of like a sensory overload sometimes, because you're there, and if you're in a vehicle, it's moving. It's actually moving, and if you don't look at the camera and the crew, you feel like you're moving, and if the technology, for whatever reason, stops, then you find yourself jolted because you're like you're going to fall over. But it's just because your senses have bought into it all. So, I mean, those are the things I remember more than anything.
Thank you guys so much to this amazing cast and filmmakers. Give them a round of applause.